Hello, my beautiful educators. As you can see, I'm outside of the classroom. Today's Intentional Teachers Workshop is all about the mental well being and finding and reconnecting with your why. As teachers, we're constantly under stress, and especially during this time of the year when it's time to start doing progress reports or report cards, parent teacher conferences, and all types of documentation to show and prove that you've been doing a wonderful job during this halfway part of the school year. So we're going to work today on learning how to find our why or reconnect with our why. Determine what's our mission. What is our mission when we're in the classroom? And towards the end of the workshop, I'll give you 5 little tips that will help you prevent burnout. So come join me. Come relax with me. I'm in the beautiful beaches of Yambu, and behind me is the Red Sea. This is where I come to find my why and reconnect, not only with myself, but also with my family, who's so patient with me during out the entire school year. You can see them right now. I think you can see them. They're out there playing and doing their thing. So, welcome. Remember, join the movement, guys. Hit that like and subscribe button so that you can become a part of Teaching Intentional. I'll see you guys at the workshop. Bye.
Are you a philosopher?
No, no, I'm a teacher. I'm a teacher. I'm a teacher.
Welcome, educators. Thank you for coming back to another Intentional Teachers Workshop. Today, we're going to get started with the why. So, I have my cup of coffee, I have my pens, and I have you as in my audience, and I am ready to go. So, why should we start with the why? Your why becomes the heartbeat of your classroom. It's what gives your teaching meaning. Beyond the classroom, the policies, or even your paycheck. Have you ever had one of those mornings where you're asking yourself, why am I getting up? Why am I doing this for students who aren't grateful? Why am I doing this? Why am I doing why? That's why we're going to begin with the why. Your why gives you that, I would say, energy to keep you going when you're tired and you're frustrated and you're ready to just call it quits. What do you want your students to walk away with? When they leave your classroom and it's the final time you're closing the door, it's the final time that you're giving them the goodbyes for the summer. What impact do you want to make? Not just for the day, but for the rest of their lives. We remember our best teachers not because of their tests, the textbooks that they use, or the subject that they taught. We remember our teachers because of how they make us feel. It's the why that we're feeling from them. Maybe we had a teacher that was kind or that was patient. That started with their why. So, what's your why? Maybe it's helping students feel secure, helping them to be seen. Maybe it's giving them the confidence that you know that they're going to need for this world. Maybe it's creating equity, belonging, or joy. Maybe it's teaching them leadership and learning how to think for themselves when they go out inside of the rest of the world. For me, my why, I call it the Eduardo effect. My why began a little bit before, but it made me, I actually realized it when I was teaching Eduardo. Eduardo was an immigrant student that I taught when I was a special education teacher. He came to the United States a little later in life, so he was older than the rest of the students and pretty far behind because of his language, the language barrier, and a couple other things that they labeled him special education and placed him in my English class with. Eduardo had taken the state test maybe 2 or 3 times and failed. So when it was time for him to talk to the counselor about what he wanted to do, the counselor gave him advice, which she thought was the best advice. She said, maybe you should try a trade school or think about what type of job workforce you want to get into. Eduardo was sure that he wanted to go to college. He was sure that he would be successful in college. And that's what he wanted to do. He came to me and he asked me, how can he pass the test? So we looked and we worked and we developed a plan specifically for him. And long story short, he ended up passing the exam by 1 point. You can imagine how he felt that even against the odds, he was able to do what he set out to do. He was able to complete his goal. On graduation day, he stood me up and he wanted to thank me. And he wanted me to meet his parents, and his parents gave me a great big hug. And that feeling that I received let me know that this is my why. And special education specifically can be very difficult, very emotional. But it was at that point where I said, you know what? I can do this for another year. I can get this feeling that he's having. I can put this into another student. I can help another parent realize the dream of their child. I think I can do this. I know I can do this. This is my why. This is why I want to teach. So tell me about your why. Let's get into our journal reflection. And remember, you can use the journal below or the one in my Intentional Teachers Workshop Reflective Guide found on the Amazon link below. Ask yourself these questions. What made you become a teacher? What made you stay as a teacher? Was it an aha moment for you? Was it money, financial reasons, but then it changed to something different once you reached a particular goal? You saw something spark. What is your mission in education? What do you want your students to say they learned from you? Outside of the content, they can learn that from anyone. But what is it that the impact that they'll go back and they say, you know what? I remember Ms. Andrea taught me this. How does your why influence your daily teaching? What symbols or reminders can you use to help your classroom connect with your why? Write freely. Your why is personal and it's evolving. Let it shape your steps as an intentional teacher. I'll give you some seconds to reflect on this. While we're dealing with our why, we need to now give our why a voice. Okay? For intentional teachers, a mission statement captures your why and your how. It's a compass that guides classroom decision. It guides your relationships with the parents, with the students, with administration, with your colleagues. It forms your culture of your classroom. It's not just for your eyes. It helps to communicate your values, your goals, your why to everyone that comes into your classroom. Your mission statement, it becomes the foundational of everything you built. Now, you can use a simple phrase. It doesn't have to be extensive. It doesn't have to be. Now, in the book, in the Teacher's Workshop Reflective Guide, I do allow us to go step by step of developing that mission statement and really honing in on to the how and the what and the why. But for right now, not to overwhelm you, let's just deal with a simple statement. I teach to so that blank. Okay. So here's a few examples we can use. I teach to help students see their power so that they can lead with confidence. I teach to create inclusive spaces so that every child feels safe to be themselves. You understanding how it works? So think about your I teach to so that statement. Go ahead, remember again, use the journal that's down above and think about it. Think about that mission. What is it that you want to do? This is your professional compass. Review it often, update it as needed, and let it guide your growth. Because when burnout starts whispering, and it will whisper, trust me, your mission statement becomes your reminder. This is who I am. This is what I am building. Okay, so we're getting it, right? So you have your why, you have your mission statement. Now, how? How? How are you going to bring this to life? How are you going to implement this? How does it become a living statement for you? This is done intentionally. Okay, so this is where being an intentional teacher is going to help you the most. And it's going to be in three ways. Lesson planning, yes, lesson planning. And I know you guys are wondering, how can I put my mission statement into a curriculum, especially if it's already a standardized curriculum? So that's what we're going to talk about. 2, classroom environment. How is your classroom? What would we use as teachers? Theme, right? So think of your mission statement as that theme in your classroom. And 3rd, your social and emotional climate. And that's what's really important. And if you remember anything about the last workshop with social emotional climate, social emotional learning, and why it's important, you will understand that that's where your mission statement, that's where you're going to shine. That's where your impact is mostly going to be, in the SEL. Okay, let's go. Let's talk about number 1, integrated in your lesson plans. When you plan, don't just think about what you'll teach. Think about why you're teaching it. Doesn't matter if it's math, science, social studies, and a different language. Why are you teaching this? You could be teaching anything, but you're teaching this. And we can't say it's because this is where they placed me. No, you decided to stay. So how can you connect your why to your subject and to your lesson and to your content? Think about, does it help my students grow in the way I value most? Where can I build reflection, choice, or connection into this content? Now, I will tell you, when we have to teach the content, you have to teach the content, but it's the examples that you can bring in. Okay, I had a co-teacher one time, and everyone was upset with her because she wasn't teaching culturally sensitive material. She was teaching the classics, okay? And because we were in a majority school, a lot of people thought that the literature should reflect on the students that we're teaching. Now, I'm not here to argue or debate this. We can do that another time. But what she had was a strong why and a strong mission. And what she wanted to do, she wanted to teach the students, yes, there is African American literature, and we will bring that in. But there is just literature. She wanted the love of literature to go through beyond the racial barrier. So yes, she could have kept it to just to just the what can we say, literature that was conducive to just their race and their issues. But she decided to do more than that. She decided that she felt that it was time to expand their horizon, right or wrong, and whether that's your opinion or not. She held on to her why and her mission, and this is what you can do when it's, as long as it's right. Of course, there's going to be, and I need to do disclose, I need to do disclaimers that, of course, you don't want to just, um, you want to be culturally sensitive at the same time. You have to be culturally sensitive, and you have to ensure that you're not browbeating your belief system. That's something different. We're not saying put your belief system on the student. We're saying think about the impact. What do you want them to learn? What skill do you want them to take with them that extends beyond the classroom, such as leadership, being kind, being caring, thinking of the world globally, being globally minded, analytical thinking. That's something different than saying, I want you to be Christian. I want you to be Muslim. I want you to love LGBTQ community. I want you to not love them. I want you. No, that's something different. And that goes against what we're speaking about right now. So I want to be clear with that, inshallah. Okay. So now in your mission, you want to decide, am I promoting creativity? Then let your lesson plan promote creativity. Okay. Do you want to promote empowerment? Then in your lesson plan, give students a place where they can have their voice or choice. It can be, do you want to do this in a Canva, a Canva project, or do you want this to be written? Give them that choice board. And that's within the content, and at the same time it's within it's pushing your why. So these are the ways that in the lesson plan we can help build that why for us. Next, we want to take a look at the classroom environment. So with the classroom environment, a lot of times with teachers, we may, especially new teachers, we may inherit posters, borders, classroom decor, things that we can put on our door. We want to ensure that our statement is strong from the very get-go. So as soon as someone comes into our classroom, they know what we're trying to do. So think about those posters that I inherited. Do they represent me, or do I need to thank you for giving me these, but this time I have something else I have in mind? Your door, your welcome sign, all of these things should reflect on how you, or what you want to happen inside of your classroom. If you want them to be thinkers, give them things to think about. Put little things on the wall. What else can you do? If you want them to have self-esteem, don't just do a wall that says 100% people or the excellent board, but give it an effort board. If you did effort, if there was any type of growth, then your name goes on this board because you put in the work. Just like that, self-esteem will rise. If a child has to only see those that's always getting the A, they're always getting the star, how is that going to make them want to reach, especially if they're having a difficulty? Allow students to cheer each other on. You did a great job. Oh, you made a mistake? Don't worry about that. I made a mistake before, and I was just able to erase it. You make mistakes. Let them know that this is something that happens. It's okay. So think about those type of ways that you can include your why into the classroom. It could be restorative circles. Everyone's having a problem. Okay, you know what? Let's do a restorative circle. Let's talk about it, you know? And these little things are what makes the classrooms speak for you. So you don't always have to speak. Everything that you're saying, everything that you're doing, everything that you're showing, whatever that they're looking at, it speaks for you. And this is what you want. All right. Another thing we can do, and I should try to give this tip for lesson planning, or even just if you want to put your mission statement up to give you that objective, to give you that focus. And if it's a lesson plan, you can put objective and write down your mission statement so that it can give you that focus. And if you put it up on the door, that was the most powerful thing that I could ever do as a teacher, placing my mission statement so they knew what I was trying to do. And we would go to it. They knew my mission statement. They knew what I was trying to do. Administration, they knew what I was trying to do. So it was obvious to everyone. So those are little practical tips of how you can do it. The next one we want to look at is the social emotional aspect. And we kind of just like dealt with the tip of that with having them tell each other, you know, great job, or don't worry about it, how are you? Doing your little check-ins. You know, doing your little check-ins. And the morning circle was great for that. Even for high school, we would have the circle, and the circle can be a very powerful way for students to be seen. And for middle school, high school, that's the major part of what they're trying to do. They just want to be seen. So little things like that, having a morning circle, let's check in with one another. There were 5 other strategies in the last video that you can look at that was simple ways of putting your social emotional learning why inside of your classroom. Students can have a reflection wall, you know, those little things like this. Quotes, of course, you know, these are all of the things that we can do. How are we going to speak to one another? I know for me, it's very important that the language between me and the student reflect that line of professional. So it doesn't mean that I'm like this. I'm not militant, but at the same time, there's a certain amount of respect, and there's a certain amount of respect that I want them to have. So yes, maybe I will say Mr. Eduardo, maybe I will say Miss Alicia, to let them know that this is a sign of respect, that this is what we give to one another. It's the same thing now in the Islamic culture. You may hear us saying, "Oh, this is brother so and so, this is sister so and so," and that's to build a community, build that love and that family. So words mean a lot. It's being able to say good morning, how are you today? All of these things are the norms that we can place inside of our classroom and take away any type of negative. I can't do this. No, rephrase it. I need to try something different. This is hard. This is something that's going to need more practice. So just these little phrases of turning negative into a positive can promote your why and your mission tremendously. Okay. What else we want to say? I'm trying to think off my head of little tips that I may have used. And if you know any, then please put some in the comments. Let us know. This is your tribe. This is your community. So please, in the comments, don't just like and share. I love when you like. I love when you share. I love when you subscribe. But I want us to connect. Okay. And I want us to connect as a community. So if there's any other little tips that you can think of, please put them down into the comments. I am so willing to listen to you and to share information, inshallah. All right. Next, I would say when you have your lesson, your space is right, your culture of your classroom is right, everything is fitting your why, you're still going to have that burnout. Okay. And before we talk about preventing burnout, I want to pause for a second and get real with you about the mental health side of teaching. Teaching is on the same lines. I'm talking about mentally, the mental strength that it takes. It's on the same lines as a doctor. Any first any I would say any first what do they call them, the first lines, the first line people. Sorry, my it's not coming to me right now, but when we're teaching, it takes emotional stress, physical stress, where sometimes we're standing all day, not going to the bathroom. That's a physical stress. Um, mental, the having to make decisions. We're constantly making decisions, and not just for one person, but sometimes for a classroom of 18, a classroom of 25. And then we have the parents with their expectations, administration coming to us with their expectations, and then we have our own expectations. Then our families have expectations on us. So there is a lot that's going on in a teacher's life. And this is not for a couple of hours where we can then turn it off. We say, okay, Bob, I'll see you tomorrow. We take our suitcase and leave. No, we go home with it. Even though we have our summer breaks, our holiday breaks, we work during those times. I cannot tell you how many times my husband has said, stop. What are you doing? You have to let them know that this is family time now. And I'm like, yeah, I know. I just want to, I just need to, I got to get. So this comes with a lot of stress, and it comes with a lot of mental strength that we need. So burnout isn't just being tired or overwhelmed. It's when your emotional, physical, and mental energy are all tapped out, but you keep trying to move on. You keep pushing. Here's the truth: burnout and mental health are deeply connected. When teachers don't have space to process, rest, or feel supported, it doesn't just show up in fatigue, it shows up in anxiety, irritability, depression, and sometimes even physical illness. A 2024 study from the American Federation of Teachers found that nearly a quarter of teachers feel frequently stressed, and almost 60% said their mental health worsened once they became a teacher. And this is just the general teaching. Let's add the violence that has crept up into our school system, which we're not going to talk about right now. You can understand that now we're not just the teacher. We're the mother, we're the caregivers, we're the fathers, we're the first responders. I got the word, see, it came in. We're the first responders, we're the protectors. We are everything while this child is under our care. And a lot of times we'll go home and we're still thinking about the child. We're still thinking about the children. We're still wondering why, what. So this is why our mental health status can actually worsen. And that's not because teachers are weak. It's because the system keeps asking for more without giving enough back. Again, that's a workshop for another day. I want you to hear this. Take this message with you. Your mental health matters. Taking care of yourself isn't selfish, it's sustainable teaching, it's intentional teaching. And here's the thing: your classroom can feel your energy. When you're centered, your students sense it. When you're drained, they sense that too. So making yourself top priority, it's not an optional thing. It's part of the work of being a teacher. And I say that from experience. As I told you, my husband, he will tell me, slow down, stop it. Sometimes I come home, I'm so exhausted. I have my own children that need their homework done and need to be fed, and I have to clean the house. There are still things that I have to do. And sometimes I found myself questioning the why and wondering, am I built for it? You know, should this be my last year? So I had to learn how to make myself the priority and then make my family the priority. I had to learn how to be intentional. This is why I can now have a workshop of how to be intentional. I did the work. I did the work. So before we talk about strategies, I just want you to take a deep breath. Drink your coffee, drink your tea. Wherever you are, remind yourself right now, you are human first, teacher second. All right. Now let's talk about those 5 intentional ways to protect your peace and prevent burnout. All right. Number 5. And I'm trying to wonder, is this going to be from lowest to highest? No. This is just 5 that I'm giving you. You can decide which one is the most important for you, okay? Because really it's just about you being sustainable. It's about you trying to fight burnout before burnout even comes. So whichever 5 you need to do first, this is up to you. Number 1, protect your boundaries. Say no with confidence. When something doesn't serve your purpose, no, can't do it. I know as teachers, we want to be collaborative. We have to be collaborative. A lot of times we put ourselves out there. We're sometimes mentors, we're lead teachers, or we're just wanting to have that community. So we become the reliable teacher. And there's going to be sometimes when you have to just say no and be confident with it. Reconnect with community. Find your teacher tribe, the ones who lift you up. Do not go into your teacher's room and be with those who are negative Nancy's. You don't need that. It's already starting to weigh heavy on you. You need something that's going to give you positivity. So those teachers that's talking bad about the administration, talking bad about this student, talking bad about this content, they have nothing good to say. They have already burnt out. They have already reached the zone of negativity. Do not socialize with them in a long way. You want to find your tribe, those that's uplifting you. Those are teaching. They're learning themselves. They're trying things that's new. These teachers that's going to give you that spark. That's the tribe that you want during this time. And you can talk to. I'm not saying be mean and nasty. I'm saying choose who you're going to give your time and space to, and only give your time and space to those that's going to uplift you and give you a positive impact. Number 3, reflect weekly. 5 minutes, 5 minutes on a Friday. What did I do good? Give yourself positive affirmations. Don't just focus. Yes, you want to focus on the negative because you always want to try to get better. You want to see how you can change. But at the same time, you want to look at your I did that moments. So give yourself a time to reflect and make it a mindset Monday, where you can sit down and you can put your goals together and you can say, okay, this is what I'm trying to get accomplished. And then at the end of the week, you can see what you have accomplished. And these things help us understand and see that we have enough to just keep pushing. Number 4, keep learning for yourself. Yes, your school's going to give you PDs, but they're giving you PDs based upon how they want you to be, the road that they want you to be on, or how to be a great teacher. That's fine, but give yourself PDs, go and learn those subjects that will work for you. It doesn't have to be related to teaching, it can be related to gardening. Just something that's going to help you become the best you. Okay. Number 5, rest unapologetically. No, I will not do emails on Saturday. No, I will not respond to anyone on Saturday. Sunday at 6 p.m. is when I get back to doing my teacher work. And don't worry about how everyone else is going to feel. You have to set those boundaries for yourself. And once you set a boundary, keep the boundary, because the moment that you break it, for whatever reason, you'll always go back to breaking it. So rest. Give yourself a no time. This is my no time from 5 p.m. Friday till Sunday at 3 p.m. No, I will not. This is for me and me alone. And if you can do those, if you can implement those 5 tips to prevent burnout, it doesn't mean that burnout isn't always going to slip in, but it means that you're fighting back. And that's what you want to do. You want to fight back the mental exhaustion. So let's wrap it up. Today, you found your why, created your mission statement, explored how to live it out in your teaching, in your environment, and in your community, while also protecting your peace. Your mission gives your work meaning. Your boundaries give it longevity. I'm going to say that again. Your mission gives your work meaning. Your boundaries give it longevity. And together, they create a classroom where both you and your students can thrive. So here's your intentional teacher challenge for this week. 1, write your mission statement. 2, post it somewhere where it's visible. And 3, choose one way to bring it to life through a lesson, a design change, or a community classroom movement. And when you do, please tag me, whether it's on Instagram with the Intentional Teachers Workshop or right here in our community on YouTube. I want to see your glow. I want to see how you were able to make your intentions come alive. Remember, teaching isn't just about curriculum. It's about cultivating purpose. You are more than a teacher. You are a builder of legacy. I like that. So don't forget, hit the like, subscribe, share, communicate with us. Let us know how you're doing. Stay grounded, stay inspired, and as always, stay intentional. I'll see you guys next time. Thank you for joining another Intentional Teachers Workshop.